Hey, and welcome to Sisters in Lit and Life, where we discuss the lit we read and life. I'm Layla,
I'm Rayn.
I'm Whitney.
I'm Shannon.
and this week we are recapping Fast by Millie Belizaire. All right, we ready for the Rain recap?
Yes. Okay, so this week's book trigger warnings, even though the book had none. Um, this book had, you know, sexual abuse. It had childhood trauma. It had family trauma. It had whatever kind of trauma you could think of. It there. It's in there.
It's in there.
But the book starts off with a little girl named Caprice. Her mother has passed away, and she has to go live with her grandmother and her uncle. Um, and she's 8.
Yeah.
8 when she goes to live with them, and the uncle immediately takes interest in her. He starts giving her candy. He starts giving her chocolate. He starts befriending her. She has to sleep on the couch in this 2-bedroom home, this little pink house. And one night she's watching TV, and the uncle comes out, and he lifts her shirt up, and he starts doing some inappropriate things to her. And then it just gets worse from there. One day she comes home or after school or whatever, and she gets to the point where she's obsessive about being clean, and she takes showers all the time. And so she goes home, she takes her shower, and while she's in the bathroom, the uncle comes in and brutally assaults this little girl.
Brutally.
And her grandmother comes home, finds her on the floor, bloodied and bruised. And she asks Caprice, did she let her uncle touch her? And she says no. And the grandmother then says that she wants the uncle to get out of the house. He doesn't leave. She calls the police. The police come, and unbeknownst to the grandmother, the uncle had some drugs in there, so he gets 12 years. And the grandmother begins to blame Caprice for her beloved son going to jail. And she gets in her mind that Caprice has made this up, and she's fast, and and she's the reason why her son is no longer there. So the grandmother starts to, not neglect the little girl, not feed her, not clothe her as she probably should. This little boy that lives across the street from her has fallen in love with her since the first day of school, and they become best friends, and they grow up together. Fast forward, the uncle gets out of jail. She's about 16 at this time. Uncle gets out of jail, and Caprice is like, oh my God, I can't stay in this house by myself no more. And she starts sneaking the little boy from across the street, Sean, into the home. And the uncle starts jiggling her door at night. And anyway, he comes in one night, and Sean decides he's going to try to kill him, and they get beat up. And then they lose contact. She gets whisked away into a better life. She goes to school and becomes a doctor. And coincidentally, by happenstance, they meet back up 12 years later, Sean and Caprice, and they rekindle this puppy love that they had as young adults. And they live
Now
happy.
they ain't young. Them motherfuckers is old now.
Well, when they were young, I'm saying young adults.
She
I
was
guess young
27.
kids.
They older now.
When they were 16 and 18.
Yeah, she
when
was like they
she
rekindled
leaves.
what they had from before.
I said young
When
adult. He was 18, but she was 16. But fast forward 12 years later, they run into each other again. He's an NBA player, and they get back together. But this book was like deep, like heavy into the trauma, trauma on every page.
It was very much about mental health, like very, very much about it, and
yeah,
the
getting
different
past trauma and all of
courage.
that.
And even in the end, when she's at the point where she's successful, she's built this big career, she still like reaches out to her mother, who is her therapist, and is still like why am I not fixed? What's wrong with me? And she's still struggling in her, like daily trying to make sure that she's not falling back and doing.
And she has to remind her that's not how trauma works. No matter how much you've worked through it, there are sometimes going to be triggers. And you have to know how to handle it when those triggers present themselves. You have to learn to recognize your triggers. And one good thing I liked about this was that she didn't fly by that. This wasn't an author who just kind of, I'm going to write about triggers. I'm going to write about trauma and not really address it. So I really like that she addressed that it does take work. And she showed that Caprice did the work. She was moved to an environment where this person was focused on her getting the work. And actually, she moved to an environment where this woman could actually give her this one-on-one attention. You were a psychotherapist or a psychologist, and you can work on this, and encourage her in the field, because she knew she wanted to be a doctor. She never knew what type. So I think that was good, and that she was always willing to work on herself. So it was like, no matter, I've had this really crappy life, that was never an excuse for her not to live out her dreams. That was never an excuse for her to say, oh, let me have this pity party, woe is me. She just kept climbing the ladder of success and working on herself.
Let's go back to the beginning of this book.
Yes, all the way back.
So, at first when we first pick up this book, I'm thinking, okay, I have no idea what this book is about. Fast. This is a girl no cover. Okay. So we first get in here and I'm like, oh, the uncle is the trashiest person. He's 21. So he's not even like,
I knew he was going to be trash though, because her mom dies, and that's what brings her to have to live with the uncle and the grandmother. But what was the first thing he wanted to make sure of? The first question he asked about this little girl, not, oh, is she okay? She got them A's like her mama. He was looking for the past for, let me see how far I can do this.
Like, before make sure she's good enough.
Yep. That's what he was doing.
8 years old.
The very beginning.
8 years old. Yeah.
Lifted up her shirt to ejaculate, and he thought she was asleep. And then ejaculated on this baby.
Take the shirt down and be like, oh, don't tell nobody.
Takes the shirt down. She's looking at him and then like, shh. I wonder, you know what? It's one thing she did not address. What was in that chocolate? What was he? Because that's the one thing.
One time.
Because she never liked chocolate again. Like that, we never did find out what he did to the candy. If he was drugging her, or if he was what.
I thought she just had an aversion to chocolate because she knew that him giving her that treat was like an opening for him to do this to her.
Yeah, that's why she stopped liking the chocolate. But there was one time where she ate chocolate and she started feeling weird.
Yes, like it tasted. She said
it tasted
sour.
Maybe it wasn't edible. Because he was the drug dealer.
He used to always smoke the trees and the brown wrappers and stuff.
Yeah.
But it was interesting that the book was written from her point of view when she's 8. So we know as adults what's going on. We know that it's not lotion that's being put on her from his, it's ejaculate. Like the way she had to word things from an 8-year-old point of view. I was just like sitting here thinking, I was like, this is just exactly what an 8-year-old probably would think this stuff is. And I was just like, oh God, it was hard to read a lot of it.
It was.
Which you have to put trigger warnings in books like these. You have to, because even Lonnie's saying like anything can trigger people. Someone having experienced this may not even read this book because it's very heavy.
I was 10.
Even people that have been adopted. Because we have 2 instances where she ends up being adopted after being through so much trauma. And then you go and work with this kid. And that's great that she is able to help him. But he's been through some stuff. And the fear of going back into foster care and what is it going to be like? He's got all these personalities. Like, yes, this really needs some trigger warnings.
Yeah, I definitely would have to agree with that. Because even when I was picking the book up, I did not want to read this book because I was like, Rayn got me stressed over here about
this. Yes, when you put that in the chat,
I was like,
I didn't start reading it till last night, and I didn't finish it until today, and it was very difficult. It was very difficult for me, being a parent of a kid that I've adopted, like because I don't know all his triggers. I don't know all the trauma. And so reading this and some of it, I'm like, dang, I hope he didn't experience none of this, because some things he just won't talk about. And so it was hard for me because she did a great job with writing this stuff.
You were there.
So it felt real. It felt real. And I was just like, yikes, this
might be one of the heaviest books we've
This is D.
I don't know. I feel like we read what's it called? The Room Upstairs, the Upper Room. Did we read that on podcast?
Oh, I don't know what that is.
It's not that.
This it right here.
Because that was pretty bad too.
It was. I don't know about that, but this is.
Yeah, I think this might be the heaviest one we read.
I've never read I don't think I've ever read a book this or maybe just because I wasn't prepared.
The upper room was traumatic as fuck, like for real.
Wait,
I
ain't even read that book with the lady. What's the lady that was beating on her kids? And what book was that? That was a little deep too. That lady, it was
the other black or the
yeah.
The darkest
color of the skin or something.
The darkest child.
That was a little deep, but
that was
too.
This one probably was still heavier because I feel like it dealt with more
the essays of a younger kid and
it wasn't just like a snippet. We didn't just experience like a snippet of it. It was
like you went through the childhood
because even like it was because even when she's getting bullied at school, she's getting bullied at home, she's being sexually assaulted at home, she just lost her mom. Like
every trauma you can have as a child is in this book.
Yeah.
Yes.
100%.
Every single trauma.
Yes. Yeah. Because she
and then we had the grandmother in this book. Oh my God.
Getting her to admit, to satisfy your spirit, because you didn't think your son was really gonna go to jail like that. You just wanted the police to.
And it was her own fault he went to jail.
It was your own fault because he would not leave. No, it was his own fault. Because you should have been selling drugs up in there. His mama didn't know that's what he was doing. Now, how the baby figured out and the mama didn't know, I don't know. But clearly she was oblivious to everything he had going on in life.
But what did she think the police weren't gonna? They were just gonna be like, "Oh, son, you need to leave." Like she knew he had a small amount of drugs. She just didn't know it was a big amount. First of all, you're a black family and you're not in like a wealthy neighborhood, so you call the police for drugs. I'm sure he has some kind of criminal record.
Yep.
But she didn't call the police for drugs.
No, she didn't call it for drugs.
Just to get out the house.
To get him to leave. And they went in the room and they see the drugs. And then that's probable cause to keep searching because you didn't invite them in.
And they find the big house.
So they're going to keep looking. So that and for I had to write this down. When the grandmama finds the girl, she sees her. She asks the boy, did he do it? No. And what did he say?
He said one of them little fast tail boys from around the corner.
She's like, she's fast, and she probably had one of those older boys. Because the grandma even said, she's like, it wasn't a little boy who did this to her. This was a grown man based off her injuries. She's unconscious. Yeah. She's bloody. Like at first, I was like, oh, they're exaggerating a little bit with the blood because I thought it was just her hymen being broken. I was like, it don't bleed that much. No, the fact that it was blood everywhere.
And you kicked her after you got done to see if she was living. He says, you don't know Caprice like I do. Let me tell y'all, that sentence did something to me. Oh, because your grandmama haven't been jacking off to the little girl? That you're right. Nobody knows her like you, nasty. Like, I was so mad. I had to put the book down.
Yeah.
I had to put it down. Like that one sentence, I was fighting mad. Like he had said it to me. Like, you was finna catch these hands, sir.
Yeah,
it just blew my mind because
the fact that the grandmother is even questioning, like if she's not, you're not picking up a frying pan and
wrapping him upside the head. Like, why are we even having a conversation?
Well, I'm giving you till the end of the month. No, you got to go now.
You got till the end of me taking this last breath after I say this last word.
You got to go now because I'm calling the cops.
I was going to say, no, you can stay right the fuck here. Stay right here. Till the police come. Stay right here. Don't go nowhere.
Right.
The police on the way.
And And then when he gets in big trouble, because here's my thing, you would have gotten more than 12 years had the police been called for what you did to this baby. Let's be real. Let's be real. So for then you to see, oh, he really got in trouble. I wasn't trying to get him in trouble. Now it's your fault. Why did I ever believe you? You're the reason why my beloved son is in jail. Won't you go ahead and say that he really didn't do anything?
And she's gotten caprice to the fact where she doesn't even believe what she doesn't even believe her own mind was what has happened. She's like, no, maybe he didn't do that. Maybe I did have some boys. Like maybe that didn't happen to me, because she's always described it as an out of body experience. And I think the biggest thing that for me, when she was talking to Kofi and he was talking about how he had separated himself into different personalities to protect Kofi the person, she was saying, if I had have continuously been sexually assaulted, she probably would have given her out-of-body person a name that probably would have split her. It was goosebumps, y'all. Like goosebumps. Like, whew. That I was like, whoa, that is some deep stuff right there.
That is, but she would remember it though when she would close her eyes, when you would go to sleep or try to go to sleep, and then to know you have OCD, but then you have OCD and trauma. So if you don't fall asleep facing the door, so you can see trouble coming. If you fall asleep the other way, then you're up all night. Your body realizes.
Her grandma was awesome because she gave her room, which had a lock on it. So thank you, Grandma.
After you was trying to get me to say that he didn't do it and burn me with cigarettes.
You know what? This little girl is so respectful. The grandma would have put me out. Because, baby, I know you don't think you're finna burn me with some cigarettes after your son done did all of this to me. I would have hit her.
She should have been way like in real life. To think that a child that had experienced that much trauma for that long, because for 8 years, because she was 8 when she got there, she was 16 when she finally left. So for 8 years, she just went through hell having to live in this lady's house. She wasn't feeding her. She wasn't doing nothing. In real life, she should have been way more socially.
Her behavior should have been right.
She should have been way more like.
But not just that. If not then, definitely when you get the information that he's going to be paroled and he's coming back.
Yeah.
She handled that well. Her mind was to escape. No matter where I'm going, I got to escape. But the fact that the grandmother gave the room, she tried to make it because she couldn't leave Sean. I really was surprised about that part. And I get he was safety. And you probably did think, okay, I'm one of them kids that thinking about running away. How am I going to eat after this money runs out? Where am I going to live? Like, I get that. But I don't understand how she rationed that with knowing this man is coming back here to live. I don't care that the same thing happened to him in the jail that he did to you. I don't know how she had the empathy to worry about, because he comes back and he wants to be her friend and he trying to act like, she said he talking to me like he ain't SA me. Like
when he got SA'd in the prison himself.
Like, even though he know what this feel like, we ain't cool. We ain't never gonna be cool. And I would always have the fear that you're gonna try it again because you're gonna get out. And see, you remember stuff when you was in there, you going, but now you out and you living comfortably. Who's to say you're not gonna try this again?
Yeah. So, but for me too, like when she's leaving, about to leave, she's on the bus and she gets off. Like, I feel like for her, Sean was the only form, because she said even when he hugged her, she's like, she didn't realize that she missed physical contact. Like, as a mom, I can't wait to get people away from me. You know what I mean? Like, just don't touch me. But for her to be like, I literally don't even know this kind of touch, this respectful, this warm, this happy touch is. I feel like she just couldn't let that go, because then she would still have nothing. So it was like almost like I can leave, I can protect myself, but what's the point of protecting myself and leaving if I never have that happiness, that feeling? Because what's life worth if not have some form of...
I know that she wouldn't have trusted anyone to let them get that close. I mean, and basically the author says that she goes all the way through college, med school, and she has no type of romantic relationship.
She said she felt like somebody was gonna rape her. But I think she really had a lot of mature, like her thought process, even as a young child. Because after it was going, once she decided she was gonna start like she working and saving her money,
$7,000.
Oh yes.
She had a plan. And so even when she just was like, oh, I'm finna run away because I heard that the guy was coming, I really think, even though she didn't want to leave Sean, what am I gonna do when I leave? I'm 16. How am I gonna finish? How am I gonna follow through with my plan? How am I gonna finish school? How am I gonna get into med school? How am I gonna be able to do what I need to do? But I think
this wasn't that long ago. Like it was what 2018, 19, and like, and then 2008 when this was written, 2006. Like her world in this book. So it wasn't like you can even really survive on $7,000 for any amount of time.
Well, she really was just saving that money to go to college.
College, but all of her thinking, like you said, Rayn, was forward thinking. Because she's getting in advanced classes. You're going to graduate high school early.
She's graduating high school.
She's trying to be out of this situation. I have to work harder.
Well, she knows that when she turns 20, when he's getting out, because he gets out early. He's not supposed to get out when he gets out. By the time he gets out, she's already supposed to be in college and gone.
Right.
So I think her also, like him getting early release, because she didn't even know about the probation hearing. I'm sure the grandmother didn't let her know about it. So even then, she's like scrambling, just trying to figure out, oh shit, I got to do something.
Right.
It was just wild. But I liked how she broke this book up into the different stages of her life. Like it wasn't just like, it was like her early trauma, her teen trauma. Because I feel like then you could kind of go through each one and kind of adjust your thinking. Because in the beginning, I was like, okay, I'm not a big fan of books written in the viewpoint of a young person. But I was like, okay. But then we get it from her as a perspective as a teenager. Then we get a perspective as an adult. So I'm glad we ended it the way we ended it. Because it was so heavy in the beginning. It was so heavy.
You needed some wins.
It was, and then even in the end, like it's not really as heavy for her, but she's dealing with her patient, Kofi, who also he's been in a foster home for 4 years, and it's a husband and wife, and they've been sexually assaulting him the entire time.
They're listening together. Yeah.
To the point where he has 2 personalities, in his mind, and like she's dealing with that, even though it's not her trauma, she's dealing with his trauma and is bringing back her trauma.
You know what? I wondered if he had 2 personalities, like how she said she was having these out of body experiences, and how, we were saying that she probably would have had a name for that. Did he have 2? Because both parents, one was for, to deal with the mom and with the dad.
He said one. He says that Moreno, I think that's his name. He's the strong one. He was the one who took all the abuse. He was the protector, and then you had the other one who was gay. I can't remember his name. He was the one who liked to talk to the ladies. So he was the softer one who could just make a connection. He basically was like, oh yeah, what you're doing to me is fine, because he knew that was the only way that he would have survived and not been killed.
Yeah. Right.
That's terrible.
Oh my gosh.
And even though this book had a happy ending, that means she still has to constantly work on her trauma, and she adopted this kid. She's going to constantly have to work on his trauma. It's cool how she was able to introduce Sean to him, and it helps that Sean's this big NBA player and is kind of like his hero, because could he trust a man if it was somebody else that she was with, if she introduced any other way? Like, even though he trusted her, who's to say he would have been able to function well? And that puts pressure on a relationship.
It does.
Because it takes this certain dynamic that you guys have worked towards to make this stable environment for a child who has this horrific trauma. And sometimes one or both of the spouses may not feel like that in the moment. And so that's a lot of pressure on, if one of them feels like, oh, I'm responsible. And I'm gonna just use my example. Like, I feel like, oh, I'm responsible. That leaves a lot of pressure on me to make sure this kid gets everything he needs, make sure he's at counseling, make sure he's doing this, or make sure that try to find all the triggers so that they're not going off. That's a lot
And it's never going to be to the point where you can control everything and everything in his environment. So there are going to be things that trigger him. And it's just making sure that both people in the house understand and respect those kinds of, emotions.
And they want to add more kids.
Yeah.
You don't even know how that's going to, because that could be a whole different trigger. Because all the time and attention that it takes for a baby, you're gonna sometimes not be, I love you, but hold on just a second. Like, that's tough.
But based on how it's written and the way what they're saying triggers these personalities to come out, they're probably not going to come out, because as long as they feel like he's safe, as long as he's not being hurt.
But they came out in counseling.
She made
because
them.
she triggered him. She triggered him.
Nope. The ladies that he didn't like, so like, but what if he's at school though? You know what I'm saying? Like, if he's at school, because you can't put him in a bubble. He's gonna have to operate outside
but what I'm saying
of the home.
Like, I think so. I don't think, because he's still around the little boy in the book. He's still around kids, and kids are still gonna be kids. So those personalities come out when they feel like he can't take care of himself. So as a child, defending, with another child, okay, he got that. He a good kid. He got that part.
They say he's an adult. But as soon as adults, so like the male and female counselors who were actually, that was their job. They were the ones who did talk therapy.
Right, but I know you don't mean no well because of what you're saying. Like, I can tell you can't relate to me, right? But now that this little boy is in their home, I know who she is. And I know, so then there is no need for these other personalities.
Yeah, because even when
and he said it, he said it too.
He's like, as long as he's safe, I'm me and the other one.
But they can only control the environment so much. Because
I think what he's referring to when he means safe, I think he's talking about the stuff that he went through.
The sexual assault.
He'll ever go through that kind of trauma again. He's always probably going to have issues where it's like, he's probably going to get in schoolyard fights. He's probably going to have people who at school don't like him. That's just life in general. Right. But those things don't seem to be an issue now. Those things don't bring out.
I don't think that's realistic. If the ladies in counseling, who they're giving you counseling, because they didn't really do anything to show you they didn't mean you any good. Even if you don't think you like their attitudes or you don't feel like they're serving you the way you needed to be served, because they weren't physically hurting him.
No,
but I know
he didn't talk to him. He didn't talk to him.
I'm there because you want to talk about my. I know why I'm here.
But that's the reason why they asked the black doctor to even talk, because they wouldn't talk to him.
And what triggered him was the lady saying, "This what happened to you wasn't your fault. You didn't deserve that." So you're talking about my sexual abuse. So wait a minute, hold on, girl, don't act like you know me.
Kofi's gone. Now you're gonna talk to me.
It's gonna be a dumb teacher. I promise you, it's gonna be a dumb teacher. Like they just y'all. When I tell you, it's gonna be one who's gonna read a file
in real life. In real life, I don't doubt that something may trigger that.
But not in this situation,
right?
I think the way that it's written, because they only once the one that was mean, the strong, the one that was taken out of hurt. Once he realized that the black lady had him, he was like, bye. She said he was saying, bye. I don't have no need to come back out. Yeah, so I think as long as he knew the one, the strong one, knew that Kofi was with her, that Kofi can go to her to tell her something, she was going to be down for him and take care of him, then there is no need for me to try to take care of him, because I know he has her. So I don't think that, you know what I'm saying, based on how the book was written.
Now, if she had been any kind of corporal punishment kind of parent where she was going to spank him, okay,
but I think in real life,
she didn't even seem like that.
You're not going to be able to control what's going to trigger stuff like that. But
even if he's in a situation where he's just at home with Sean and she's out and it's something he wants to do and Sean tells him no. And
I think his was very much about his sexual, I think his mind fractured when he was being victimized. And I think he was mature enough to understand that he doesn't get his way. Because even when he's about to be evicted from the center, he doesn't split personality. He doesn't withdraw. He's very much mature enough to be like, man, I know I'm about to leave. I gotta go. That's when she adopts him.
Oh, he went off though.
But he didn't go off like he could have went.
He didn't. His personalities didn't come out, but he went off.
Yeah, he was just like, this is BS. I don't want.
I was like, she need to hurry up and tell him she gonna adopt him before something happened up in here because
why was he not gonna be?
Well, when they get to the point where his therapy is over, like he's ready to be acclimated back into society,
okay. So he's got to go back to foster care
because they only have room for 30
nowhere to go.
Yeah.
What did they think? That's stupid.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Because why would his personality should have triggered then? Because you're gonna put me back in an environment that I don't know what's gonna happen.
Because even that's why
you don't know what kind of parents. Because let's be honest, all those parents, all the people in foster care, you go through the same background checks, you go through all that same stuff. So I'm like you, Rayn. They should have, because
it should.
I could end up in the same position I was just in.
Oh yeah, no, you ain't finna do that.
He
should have been out there.
He was getting mad. He was getting mad.
I think he was getting more sad than mad, because he was
I think he was getting mad.
But why would he get sad? Because Kofi shouldn't. Now see.
He didn't come out.
Said, let me finish his book because he shouldn't have got sad, because he doesn't. I mean, I guess you're.
I think when you get used to the routine of being in a place and you have to leave, I'd be sad. I'd be like, I'm comfortable.
I think mad took over instead of sad, because he said, so now I'm gonna go to a place that has how many beds? Where am I gonna sleep at? Like, he wanted to know he was gonna be safe. Am I?
But he should. But he didn't know none of that stuff. Let the book tell it. Kofi was not aware of his abuse. True. He was just in a home in a 2-parent home.
Yeah.
So why are you mad?
That's why I said I don't think that that part was realistic, because you're going and you don't know. You know Sean, like, yes, he's this big NBA player, but you don't know him like.
You know that the movie reminded the book reminded me of.
Sean was absolutely wonderful.
You remember the movie back in the day with Bow Wow, like Mike, and he gets adopted by the basketball player? It reminded me of that. I was like, oh, are they gonna have like a little basketball courts and all? It's so cute. But let's get to Sean now. We didn't talk about Sean. Okay, let's talk about Sean. Sean now
is everything.
That's a hero. Sean so much because I feel like he still talked to her any kind of way a little bit when they're younger.
Who?
Caprice. Like he still told her stuff. Like he was super gentle and super nice to her, but he would say, that's fucking dumb, right? Or he's like, you be talking to me like I'm stupid, right? Like he used to say stuff like that to her. So he used to still like talk to her.
No, he didn't. To me, he did not. After they established how they really felt about each other, but as best friend, they talk to each other like best friends. Like,
but he always loved her. But I just like he could have been like.
But he never thought she did.
I'll compare it to how in Love Radio, because it was Love Radio, right? Shannon?
Read it.
He was. They're about the same age as in this book. They're about 16, and he was so in touch with his feelings. He was so mature. He was very much like coddled everything about her, and like didn't say anything negative towards this girl, right? But I feel like, and Sean never said anything negative. But I feel like he always kept it real.
He knew what she couldn't handle. He knew she couldn't handle because he couldn't stand to see her cry.
But even every time she cried, he cried. I was like, oh damn. Oh my goodness. And then he explains it, because it's like in the if you just wrote that, if you didn't go into depth about their their history, you'd read that and be like, okay, he's a little sissy boy, he's punk, whatever. He explains how he's like, I had never heard anyone cry so gutturally, so terrified. It scared me to the point of like I could feel. I was just like, I was down there.
So every time she cried, I think that triggered something in him.
He did, because he remembered that time in the basketball court when she first did it,
but he recognized the difference in her cry when the police were taking her uncle off, because he was like,
those tears of joy.
Tears of
relief. She said that. She told him that.
She said, I'm not crying because I'm sad.
This tears of
joy. It made me mad that it took him so long to catch on. Like, why would you be happy your uncle going to jail? Like.
Yeah. I honestly was thinking the only thing that kind of annoyed me a little bit, and not a little bit, it annoyed me, is that you have all these adults around, right? And they know something's wrong. They know something's wrong with this little girl, because the teacher at the summer program, Miss Kelly or whatever, she's like, I knew something was wrong. I had, my gut told me. Okay, you have Sean's mom across the street. You see her every day. Like, what she wears every day. You're very much into fashion and style and hair and all that. So you know what neglect looks like. everyone knows what neglect looks like. And even if you're from a poor area, they got money across the street. They live in a decent enough place where you know she's getting bullied at school. The teachers can see them bullying her at school because the teacher let her.
The teachers in this book kind of let me down. I mean, I try to give Miss Kelly some props because in the end, when she was like, "Oh, I'm so glad I see when she came back to the school," but baby,
she said, "I have records going back to the '90s. I have records going back to the '90s." Bitch,
you are mandated.
Why have I
not a mandated reporter? Exactly. Like in different classes and trainings, they tell you like things to look for. Her clothes alone. She should have been reported for her clothes. She was underweight. Those were two reasons right there. Even if you didn't, because the withdrawn and stuff like that, but she was still doing her work. So I can get how you might be like,
even her mannerisms screamed something was wrong. The fact that you flinch when someone moves,
someone tries to touch you or go too close beside you,
noticeable. Like it's for maybe not for someone who just met you, you know, something like that. But you see your teachers for 8
Your teachers spend more time with you during the school year than your parents do. You're at school more hours of the day than you are at home during the school year. So I was upset with Miss Kelly. Miss Kelly, I was like,
even if when she wrote this book, if she had also been like, we tried calling CPS and we called all these places, because the fact that she didn't even have her own bedroom when she first was there would have been an issue with CPS.
They shouldn't have left her. Because
she had two. They probably, she probably lied and said that the bedroom was gonna be
there. She should have. No, they were supposed to. Let me tell you. When I tell you they're supposed to do an inspection, I mean open. They can walk in and open any closet door. They can open your refrigerator. They can open any cabinet drawer when they are inside your home. She should have gone. To me, she didn't go inside because his clothes would have been in the drawer. She should have even had someone to come. She should have been given a caseworker who did sporadic visits, because I'm telling you, when they came here, they would ask my child. We would all have to sit in the living room. They would take him and go to the room and say, "Where is your bed?"
But is it not a little bit different, because it's not like she was.
We were related. We were related. It's called it. So I get that her mom was deceased, but she was instantly put in DHS care. It's still the same thing. It's still because I'm gonna tell you, if it's parents that aren't together, and it's say if a dad lives in one state and the mom lives in another state, and the kids live with the mom, and the mom dies, they go to DHS and they do try to get the close of kin, but that doesn't mean they automatically go to the next parent. They still have to prove that they are worthy to take care of the kids. They will put them in foster care. It depends on your state's rules, but here in Arkansas,
maybe not there. Maybe in there because they're
Florida. They're crazy.
She wasn't in Florida. She didn't. She went to Florida, but when the mama died,
well, this is the thing, and that's another thing that's not true either. So ours came from Texas. You can't just move a kid from one state to the other. It has to go through. You have to apply for it through the other state, whichever family member you're going with. They have to go through, and they have to have a psych eval. They have to have each bedroom has to be measured, because they say you need so many square footage for one kid. You have to have.
What I'm thinking then maybe in this instance, because her mom died and she took guardianship, like it didn't seem like she was really in foster care. She was saying
guardianship. It's the same thing. No, but guardianship, y'all, I promise y'all, it's all the same. If you end up in DHS or foster care, even if
maybe she didn't end up there, but maybe she didn't
care.
But who got her? Who took her there? I thought it was a caseworker that flew her there. Because see, somebody has to approve that the flight. It's a whole process before she's even flown there. You have to have a lot of times to get around the interstate, because each state, you can't just, like I said, just move a kid from a state to state. Even in our instance, the judge in Texas wrote a court order. I took the court order to DHS. They was like, we don't care about that. That's not the procedure at all. And it takes a long time to get families together, like match kids with, like, it is a process. It is a.
It don't say who this lady is, but I mean, I get what you're saying.
Miss
But I was thinking that she just was. She didn't know the lady because clearly, you know, like you said, it was just a lady that was picked up from the airport and you know took her to the grandmother's house.
Tickets and all of that. I mean, y'all, the best thing, and this just people in general.
Wait, it does say in here that the only reason Miss Wallowitz took her to the house is because her grandmother didn't have a car. It says,
but who was the lady though? Because she didn't know the grandmama or her.
It just says her name's Mrs. Wallowitz.
So
right, I was just saying it didn't never specifically say that she was in foster care and that's who it was, but I get that's the impression because the lady didn't know the grandma. It wasn't like this was the next door neighbor that went and picked her up. This was a random lady, and she was a random white lady.
In instances like this, if something happens and like I said, your family member lives somewhere else and you lived in a state and you had kids and you pass away. You need to already have like written down who can come and get your kids, and that person will deliver. Because if not, I promise you, they coming to get them. DHS is gonna get them, and it's a process to get your kids, even to their other parent. You have to prove that you can parent. Sometimes they make you take parenting classes. Like I said, they're gonna come and measure your room. What room is the kid gonna be in? They're gonna measure.
Now that's wild. As if it's the father, you trying to be like, nah, look.
I promise you, because I'm gonna tell you why. Because they're like, well, why didn't you have custody?
Because we ain't together.
How often were you active in the kids' life?
Don't worry about all
that. I thought if they end up giving a kid to somebody who gonna sell them for some drugs because they were in their care, they have to make sure. So that's the process, and it is crazy. But
if they're in their care, I understand that.
But also, we talking about Florida. Florida's fucking crazy, so they might not have those laws.
They got some kind of statutes. Just because they're going wild down there, don't mean they ain't got nothing.
They just said, "Fuck it, send the kid wherever."
That's crazy.
ICPC is what it's called.
But
let's go into the bullying.
It's the Interstate Compact on the Placement of Children, and it's a law enacted by all 50 states, the District of Columbia, and the U.S. Virgin Islands to provide the protection and services to children placed across state lines. And when I tell you that shit take a long time,
she was in Florida the whole time.
No, she wasn't.
No, she wasn't. She was in Alabama.
She was in Louisiana.
Oh, she was in Alabama.
She was in Alabama. So that part.
Like somewhere, that place right there.
Yeah, she stayed in Alabama, or she stayed in Florida when she went to school. She just went
but she was from Alabama, and so you just can't take a kid from Alabama and fly them to Florida to the grandma. That's just not how it works.
Shoot, even in custody, even when you have partial custody, you can't take your kids across state lines without the other parent's permission.
Anyway, well,
but
ICPC
takes talking about the bullying. When she snapped on Princess.
That was a winning moment right there.
She bust her face up, broke her tooth. A teacher let her whoop her ass.
That was
he was slow to the mug to go help her out. Like
that was called an earned ass whooping. That's what it was.
It definitely was.
For 8 years, man. Like that's why I you know what's crazy? You always like in movies back in the day, and even a lot of books. There's just so much bullying in school. So I always thought when I got to high school or when I got to middle school stuff, I was gonna be like bullied, or because I went to school with all white kids. I didn't have any black kids. I had like 2% black people in my high school, and it was like 7 of us.
Oh wow.
There was probably more. That's an exaggeration. But so I was just like, but it was not. I never experienced. So like when I read books and I watch, I was like, high school was not like that for me.
It's the fuck it was.
People have so many different experiences. It's crazy.
Yes, baby. Kids are horrible. When I tell you, I got girl.
Yeah,
the way them kids used to bully me.
Really, Rayn?
Absolutely.
But you're fucking hilarious. That's crazy. Were you hilarious?
I wasn't. You know,
a lot of kids that'll be bullied when they were younger, they come out and be some funny ass adults.
Well, I was cool. You just didn't. I was always the new kid. We moved around a lot, so I never, up until I was in the 10th grade, every school year we were at a different school. Up until I got to the 10th, from 10th to 12th grade, I went to the same school. But when I tell you every year we were in a new school, so I was always
hard.
Yes.
Always a new girl. So, and then you come into an
gonna try the new
environment
girl.
where, right, and then they're always
like one of two ways.
They've been.
You either like fresh meat for the boys, be like ow, ow, or
right.
You mad because your boyfriend looking at me because he done seen you for the last 6 years. Like I don't know about that. But
that ain't my fault.
Right.
Yeah, but so it was just easy to pick on, a new kid, and then I wasn't never contrary to what you might look at me now. I might got some cute clothes now, but child, ain't no telling what I had on in school. I was shopping at the Payless. You know what I'm saying?
I haven't heard of Payless in a minute.
I was wearing, although I'll shop at Walmart now, but I was shopping at the Walmart, and when kids was getting new clothes and the latest shoes for that wasn't me. That was never me. So no, kids are cruel. This little girl, like that little girl, I remember I took cosmetology in school, and I remember like the scene where she goes to school and the little girl was like, "Oh, your hair look nice," or whatever like that, and she was like,
"Oh, that's cute."
Yeah. So like stuff like that. I remember going to school one day thinking my hair, I had put a little extra effort into my hair, and then now I go to school, I'm minding my business. Now you gotta come in, draw the attention. Now we out in the lunchroom talking about my hair. God damn.
I'm just trying to eat my lunch.
I was just trying to eat my lunch. And they would bully you about the simplest thing. I remember, I can say all kind of stories about bullying, but I remember, I'm gonna say this and I'm done about the bullying stuff. But I had this, and it's so funny because I still got a shirt that looked just like this, like similar to this. But even now I like graphic tees. But I had this Mickey Mouse shirt. It was an ash gray shirt that had Mickey Mouse on it. So like the front had Mickey Mouse and then the back had Mickey Mouse too, but it was the back of Mickey Mouse.
Back of Mickey Mouse.
I can see it. When I tell you, they talked so much trash about me in this t-shirt. It was just a regular Mickey Mouse t-shirt. They was like, "Oh, you got this $2 shirt." Like, I'm talking about all day long, they bully me for having this goddamn shirt on, right? I swear to God, the next week, the bitch that was bullying me had the fucking shirt on.
Got the Mickey Mouse shirt on.
Got the shirt on.
Y'all know what?
Girl, you
this is one thing I don't get about our culture. One thing I don't understand about our culture, boy, we love to talk about somebody's clothes. We love to talk about somebody's shoes. But y'all know what? Not saying that your shoes should look like hers, because that was ridiculous.
Yeah.
Your mama might not even be, you don't know what your mama doing for your clothes. You don't know what your mama doing for your shoes. I know I had a friend and like her daughter is kind of into, a little goth a little bit. Because it's a lot of the school is diverse. So it's some of this and some of that. And
that was me.
That's the people she hang with, okay? That's the people she hang with. Well, why the sisters want to, talk about what she got on? But the boots, $200. Like, and you got on some Maypops. Like, right. So I'm just like, but what are you talking about?
They got
on some
Maypops. They may pop whenever you walk on. It may pop whenever.
Oh my gosh.
But I was like, I ain't never heard of that.
You know what's crazy?
We put focus on that. Y'all, that's as black people, we got to realize, unless you are getting some shit that's vintage, that is not a fucking asset. It is not creating generational wealth. It is for Jordan. It is for them other people. We got to stop spending all our money and putting because our kids, they getting the wrong mindset on it's so important to have these name brands all the time. But what about what you need though? Are you forfeiting what you need? Do you have a college fund? Do your parents have anything they can actually give you so that you can inherit something? Or did they spend all their fucking money on your shoes?
Is your mama 40 still written?
Them kids do not care.
Is your mama doing like? Is your mama doing like Forrest Gump?
At the same time,
is she doing like Forrest Gump? Is she really proud or she really worried about what you can wear?
Because I got a nephew and
we're not educating our kids on what's important. We want to just make sure they.
Even if you did, it wouldn't matter.
It would. That's my. They don't care.
Because even when I was a kid, I didn't care. I wanted what
they could have on buddies and still will talk about you.
Mm-hmm.
They cannot have the name brand stuff and still will be the bully of the school.
Yeah,
and need to set
because they just want, like, whether there is jealousy or they whatever it is, they just want something. They want to be the class clown, or they want to be. They just gonna have something to say.
Yeah,
it ain't. I promise you, it don't matter.
And I always think, like, when I was younger, I used to always be like, oh, I can't stand that I went to this all-white school. I wish I had went to the school that had the... But I probably would have got bullied at that school, to be honest. I didn't get bullied at my school.
White school. It was very rare to have more than one black student in the class.
Yeah,
now, like, if you go to the school now, it's a lot of black kids at the school. But when I went, if it was two of us, if it was two black kids in the same classroom, we was lit.
Let me tell you this one random story about, and I'm slightly racist now that I think about it, but we used to do these, I had to think about. We used to do these like game show, like middle of the school year things, like where we'd have like performance things. So we did this like Family Feud type game show, and it was Full House versus Family Matters, right?
Already racist.
We only had so many kids, right? So all the black kids had to participate so that we had enough people to fill it. And I was Laura Winslow.
Lord Jesus.
And the other black kids of the school was the red.
I'm a historical black fact at my high school. I still got, like, if you go in my high school, I was a thespian in my high school. That was a thespian. But they put on A Raisin in the Sun, and that was the first time that they had ever done a black play in the whole school, right? For the whole history. And so
y'all picked up the Negro in his
if you go, even now I've been out of high school over 20 years. I've been out of high school a long time. It's been almost 30 years. Oh my God. Anyway, if you go in the theater now, there is a picture on the wall of that of us, the cast.
I'm fucking dead.
We wouldn't have had enough people to fill the cast.
Wait, hold on.
It ain't that many people in the Raisin of the Sun. It's a family.
It ain't but one.
You know what? Another thing that was kind of racist in my school, we read To Kill a Mockingbird. We read it as a class, and they asked me. It was me and Xavier. We were the only.
As soon as they dropped the nigga.
And if they asked us if it was okay with them if when we read the book they said the N-word.
Fuck no. Fuck no.
They asked us in front of the whole class.
Not asking them.
Not singling y'all out. The teacher should have said, "We will not be saying that."
But not singling y'all out. Not singling y'all out, though.
Not even asking a question. Why would you ask that?
Girl, you make that.
And me and him looked at each other and we were like, we should just pass over the word.
Right. Y'all gonna get to say it up in here today because you know everybody would have said.
The way I would have went home and told my mama, and she
came
up there and said every N word they wanted to say. You hear me?
I probably could right now. I probably would have won a lawsuit for discrimination against that.
Baby, she'd have came up there.
That's why that book is banned. That's exactly why that book is banned.
Yep. I remember that. I'll never forget that.
Like that.
I can probably message Xavier right now and be like, "You remember that one time in 11th grade? It was 10th grade English, 10th or 11th grade."
Yeah, my mom thought y'all was called them dog face crackers.
Immediately.
You know what's crazy?
What's wrong with y'all?
I didn't even think like anything about it, but now that I'm older and you see all the different things going on in the school administration.
No, you was growing up in a different era because that wouldn't have been a question at my damn school in 11th grade.
Whitney's younger than us though.
I'm 2000. I didn't graduate. I think that was probably.
But still, in my old age, they're not asking that question to us.
Yeah, they asked.
But then again, I went to a different school than Whitney did.
I didn't go.
But I'm
Yeah.
saying
My
you would have
school
known
was
that it would
majority
have been
black.
that they would have asked us because
Understood, because
Right.
we're older, and that shit would have probably flew back when we were
But
in
they
school.
asked
I
her.
can't believe they asked her that.
yeah,
Right.
I actually
because
wonder
they
if
was
I did
riding
some
around.
kind of like
They had the
like some
Confederate
kind
flag.
of
I went to school. They them kids they was riding in their pickup trucks with the Confederate
The
flags
Confederate
flying.
flag in the windows.
And what's
Yeah.
crazy is like I went to a very wealthy school. Like baseball players' kids went to my school. That was big for San Diego baseball, Padres. Like Padres players' kids went to my school, and so it was everyone had Maseratis and stuff in the parking lot. It was crazy.
But they want to say nigga.
Well,
the teachers
in the lit class,
because even the white kids were like,
the kids
what?
wanted to see it too.
The kids were like,
they wanted to say it too. Are you giving us a pass to say it?
Yeah, we'll just.
I just seen a TikTok with it anyway.
No. Go ahead.
Listen, back to Sean.
Oh, I was just gonna say I saw a TikTok where the girl, it was like, you know, they doing a little trend where it's like, I've of course I and so it was like my best friend is black, of course or and it was my best friend is white, of course and so the girl said my best friend is black, of course I have a pass to say the N-word. I said,
what?
Excuse me?
Did you see the one where it was like, of course I date a white girl and it's the black guys?
No.
I'm going to look that up when we get off.
No, but this was the video, and it was, you know, they're like alternating. So her her black best friend is in the video. Like, girl, you in the video and you letting her say this?
That's like you go look at some of these college videos of the girls doing blackface and stuff, and they have a black friend with them. I'm like, what's going on in this room?
That's the black friend that went to. That's the black friend. What book were we reading? That girl had that. We didn't read that. But excuse me, while I ugly cry. That's that black friend right there.
Oh, I didn't read that.
Y'all, there was a reality show where they put a black family and a white family in a house together, and both of them had teenage kids, and so the black family had a teenage
house
son.
swap? That's the wife swap?
No, they were in a house together, and so they had to basically cohabitate. And so it came up, boy, this boy's parents went off on him because they ended up they at the end of the day would have a conversation. So the conversation was, I think the white parents had heard it, but the two boys were hanging out, and the white teenager had some friends over. Well, he used the N-word in front of the boy, and they were like, it's okay, right? He was like, I don't mind. His parents went off. They were like, why don't you mind? Why is that okay? And Whitney, I think that's why I was like, I wonder if it's kind of the same thing they think, because you know, this younger generation of black kids, we're all so cool that it's all right. It doesn't matter. You can go ahead and drop the N-bomb, you know, anytime.
No, they be letting them say it around their friends. That's why.
That's like Carl, like and what's it called in Bel Air, where he was in the locker room rapping with his friends.
And Will went off on it. Yes,
Will went off on him.
It was an episode of Big Brother where the man was talking, and the white man was talking and slipped up and said it. On Big Brother, they immediately put his ass off the show. Like, you too comfortable, sir. You do know these cameras.
But that's even what you're saying, the show Wife Swap. If you look at any episode of Wife Swap, when they take a person of color, Spanish, anything, and put it in a white, there's always, and they do it. I mean, sure, they pick they put one like super hillbilly Confederate flag. They pick the blackest family you can find. They swap. You're gonna have.
They go and get a Black Panther and a hillbilly and put them in the house together.
But I used to eat that shit.
They creating trauma.
Yeah.
And so that's what this book was
she
about.
She slapped that lady so fast across the face. I said, "Oh damn, they done slapped the lady on the show. Let me get out of here." But yeah, it was crazy. But yeah, this book.
Y'all know when Sean was my savior?
What?
When he wrapped his jacket around Caprice when she had the accident.
Oh, yeah. when she got her first period.
What accident?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
When she got her first period.
Which is crazy because as a woman, if I saw that, I'm immediately helping you. And then
no. What's crazy is that you was 16.
They kids. And that's the shit the kids would do. That was not unrealistic, baby. That is real life. That's what they would do. That she stood up and they would be laughing.
Oh, I thought you were talking about the age. I've heard of people being older.
I believe it.
16?
Yeah, I've heard. Yeah,
she is young. I got my homegirl daughter. She started her cycle when she was 6.
Damn, 6.
I think
that's the hormones in the food
because of all the stuff in the food. But I think
so young. Oh, she already got to remember she had trauma.
But yeah, I was about to say maybe because she had trauma. That's probably the reason why she didn't get hers.
Who knows? Because she didn't get checked out for referee, so she might have had some kind of infection that never was treated.
And then I remember when she first, what also caught me up was when they flash back after they, her and Sean reunited, and she flashes back to the first time that they end up having sex before she ends up leaving, and she asks him after, was I okay? Was I broken down there? So he couldn't even enjoy his time with not to be like, it's about him.
I ain't like that.
I was just like, oh my God.
You know what? Now that you say that about her not starting until she was 16, also the trauma that she probably had to that area because of all the blood. It was more than he actually probably really missed some stuff
or something.
Yeah. Ugh.
I didn't like that though. I didn't like that part of the book because she in the beginning when it happened in real time, she did think that to herself, but then when they did flash back and it was put in there that she had asked him about that, I was like, damn, girl, damn, you're trying to traumatize him.
Yeah,
everybody can't have trauma. Somebody got to have some goddamn sense.
I wish I could go back and be the guy that didn't know this stuff, even though he was the one who was asking her and stuff. It's sometimes you don't want that information, man. You just
but why would you ask him that, girl?
She don't know.
Well, I'm saying you had already told me that she thought that in the book, when it was happening, or you were scared, or that was going to be an issue in your mental, you know what I'm saying? So then later on as an adult, and he's
really
thinking back on
know.
You want me to know that he gonna have some trauma too, because now every time he think about the first time he's sleeping with you, or if he's sleeping,
then he was blowing her back out, so they was okay. He was fucking her all the time.
He was.
He dropped his fiance so fast.
He did.
He didn't like that lady.
She was
this ain't gonna work.
Like her.
You deserve so much better than me.
You watching her so much.
Hold on. First of all, she didn't know that Caprice was Caprice, but you on a whole yacht with somebody else's name on it. Who the fuck is Caprice?
Well, she said it made sense because Caprice makes sense for a boat because capricious is about
that's what her best friend said.
That's what her best friend said, not the girl.
But I can see.
No, that's what Caprice said.
That's what Caprice said.
That's what
she
Caprice
said. The waves could be capricious, and they're wild.
That's what she said. It's not so out.
But I'm talking about the girlfriend. Who the fuck is Caprice?
It didn't have to be a person. It could be. It could have been a random name, Mary, Saint Mary.
Because I'm sure he didn't tell her about his love of his life, Caprice. I'm sure he didn't tell her.
No,
but first of all, hold on. It was the engagement. He gonna be like, "Here, girl, how about that? Let's get married." The fuck? Move around, sir.
That's what she said. She said,
also what didn't make sense? What didn't make sense to me? Okay, Miss Kelly is at their school. She knows that her and Sean are like this, right? So when you take the little girl away and you send her to your mother, the whole town knows that he's in the hospital because
they didn't, because the grandmama didn't know
why. They just know he is.
She didn't know he was. They was out on the news,
but they don't know why he's in the hospital. They just know.
What grandma didn't know?
No,
because they didn't call the police. Nobody knew. Nobody knew why he was
in the hospital.
They knew he was in the hospital.
Who knew?
But they didn't know that the girl was gone, or where, because her grandma didn't even know where she was.
They didn't know where she went.
But Miss Kelly knew, and she knew she was so close to Sean. Why didn't she ever be like, "Oh, Sean, you want me to send her letter?"
Because she couldn't tell. Well, she didn't tell. She didn't tell because when she left and she was going through the intensive therapy, she couldn't contact. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not.
Damn, just even tell Sean she's okay. She's good. Like, damn.
I first of all,
but
as a teacher,
he was
desperate to know if he went to go ask their kids. I'm not telling nobody.
But see, that was another thing that was not legal because it should have been a caseworker that was still coming to check on Caprice over there with her grandmammy.
That's what made me think she wasn't in foster care.
I don't think she had a caseworker. I think she had a delivery person.
Well, that's the only part of the book that y'all is not.
Yeah. But I love the book. I gave it 5. But
it's fiction, so it's fine.
I ain't give no 5. It was a hot photo.
I gave it 5.
I ain't give no 5.
Nah, I can't give it no 5.
When I said trigger warnings, I said the trigger warnings got you. So I ain't giving it no 5. It didn't have no trigger warning.
The repetition stuff got me. Like he kept telling me to say, like I don't like when people be talking to me like I'm stupid.
Yeah, that did get a little repetitive for me too.
And I think some of it was drawn out just a little bit. Like
it was
just a little bit. It didn't have to be 420 pages. I didn't think
I was telling my husband
story didn't need to be that long
about the book last night, and he was asking me. He was like, "So, this could be a topic you talk about. I don't know." Let me try to give us. But he was like, "Do you think that that's a realistic thing that these 2 young kids have basically bonded over all this trauma? Because regardless of even though mostly her trauma, he's still attached to her trauma. Is it realistic for them to eventually become an item and it be like something that would work?
No.
Yeah, and not toxic or not hurtful."
I think because they did not bond over her trauma.
That's what I told him. I said they were friends way before.
And he didn't know.
He didn't know about the trauma. I was like, now if they had got together because of the trauma,
or they both had trauma,
they both had it. Yeah.
Look at Blueface and Krishan. They got their own traumas. That shit don't work. Them 2 toxic people.
My gosh, I'm so glad I don't see them on the TV all over the place.
Me too. Thank God. I'm sorry he's in jail.
Y'all said forget it.
But that's the reason why we don't see him, because that nigga's in jail.
True.
It is what it is. But I mean, I had his own trauma too, though, because the way that he didn't got blunged in the damn face, I can't see why he don't have no shine. The way that he got bludgeoned in the face,
pistol whipped and everything.
Yeah, like we didn't really have no discussion about that. Like they just glazed over.
He got his ass whooped good.
No glaze over that.
I think for him, it's not even the ass whooping that would have triggered. It was the fact that you were going to kill a person. You pulled a trigger on somebody
and missed.
But I'm just like, I was telling my husband again, talking to him, and I was like, he was like, man, ruined his life. I thought it was the best thing that happened, because if he had killed that person, his whole life would have been over.
Whole would have been different. And that's why she said at the end, she was like, when Coffee asked her, do you wish he would have killed him? And she was like, no, because then his whole life would have been different.
Yeah, I definitely thought
the conversation. Go ahead, Whitney.
I was like, I definitely thought in that moment when all that was going on that the grandmother was going to walk through the door and he was going to shoot and kill the grandmother on accident. Like, I didn't think it was going to be Marsh. I was like, it's about to go.
No, but I like how she wrote her, like, not to, put any connotation on dementia or anything like that, but she's getting a slow death. Mm-hmm. And I think that karma is
come back
where it needs to be for her.
I didn't like that though. I didn't like, if you was gonna make her go back and confront the grandma, you should have just made her
be in her right mind.
Why she have dementia?
Because you can't have the right conversation that you need.
You can't have the closure.
Right. The way that
so what was the point of me going?
Yeah.
And right. And especially when she didn't recognize it.
See that she was
Alice. Yeah.
What really worked for that was to realize that, as a kid, most adults seem very big and scary and all that. So you can't really get that out of your mind. So her going back and seeing this frail, crumpled old lady.
Frail and crumpled.
But that's not realistic, because she wasn't frail and crumpled before when she was putting cigarettes out on her ass.
crazy.
I just didn't like that she had dementia because I needed you to be in your right mind to admit
when I do you this work, right?
Or not admit, or whatever the conversation was going to be. But the fact that you have dementia, then what am I getting out of this? So what was the point? That shouldn't have created no closure.
That's like Cersei and Jaime Lannister dying together in the Rumble. Fuck all that. They needed slow and painful.
I think that there should have been more of a conversation about that night that she ended up being swept away, because that created a new trauma in this boy that I got mad enough to defend you that I'm going to kill somebody, like we said. And then I ended up in the hospital
for 4 days.
A week or weeks or days or whatever.
Who should have had a conversation?
I think that I think they glazed over it whenever they got back together. I didn't think they really, like, she talked more about
Caprice and Sean?
Yes, Caprice and Sean should have had more of a conversation about it, because why that ain't gonna come up? Like, not just, oh, you were gone forever.
I mean, I feel like he didn't drill it in her, but I feel like they touched on that a few times towards the end. They had multiple conversations because she kept crying because she kept feeling guilty.
But he said she felt guilty about that she left. She felt guilty about that. I left you and I didn't contact you, and I never felt that it was the right moment. And after I took so long, and then it was like, oh, you were being drafted, and I thought I want to call you, but
feel guilty because your dumb ass tried to shoot somebody.
No, she said she felt guilty. She
also told him. She said we supposed to leave. You asked wasn't supposed to kill nobody.
Right.
I was about to say, and he was dealing with himself the whole day, and she told him, like, don't do nothing, stupid. Like,
she even said I thought she was gonna kill him, and then
that ain't had nothing to do with her.
There was no accountability on his part. He over there mad with her because you got swept away and then you didn't contact me and you look like you having fun. And I think that the way she wrote it, he didn't take accountability. Why are you mad?
Mm-hmm. You feel like they should have? Well, he did say that that's not your fault. I did that, but it wasn't a big conversation about it. It was like. It was
right. But you were saying, I saw you at this party.
But even the mom, when she goes to, say mom, after they go to Thanksgiving lunch, she's like, none of this was your fault. He made that decision. So I feel like they didn't touch on it in like a large chunk, but they touched on it multiple times.
I didn't like the mama being sick either. I ain't like that.
Yeah, especially since the dad had cancer too.
God damn! I'm telling you, everybody gotta have.
Ain't nobody have a mama and daddy in this book.
Yeah.
Golly,
girl,
but she was surviving.
She survived.
She was doing plant-based diets and yoga.
She currently has depression. Now she has depression. Yeah. So it's like, damn, you survived cancer, and now you have depression too. It's like
because her hair growing back in patches.
But now this book should have been called Good Times. Hey,
called what? In a child line, wait.
Scratching and surviving.
Least we lucky we got him. Good time.
Girl, she should have named people Alona. That lady should have been named Alona.
Yeah.
Thelma. JJ. That JJ.
Look, I'm scared. I'm scared now. Look, we done had this old trauma ass book. Y'all already know how S.A. Cosby get. You gonna be over there.
That's next week's
book,
right?
Can't get worse than this.
Right.
It's not going to be. Yeah, it's a mystery thriller suspense. It's
right.
Gonna be,
so we gonna expect some bad stuff, but not this. Like
we know murder is gonna happen.
Because I mean, y'all. I just golly.
That's what you got me listening to, Rayn.
Me?
Yes.
What?
I'm gonna see what you talk about. A not so cute meat.
Oh, I love the book. It's good.
Wait a minute, when we're reading this.
I know. I just started reading it because I wanted to see what Rayn was talking about.
I really liked it. I thought it was so cute.
He has such a dirty mouth.
After this book we read, we need something cute. Or need something.
She gonna like this book.
A side book that's cute.
I don't think Whitney's gonna. I mean, I don't think Shannon's gonna like it, but I enjoyed it.
I liked it.
What is it called, Shannon?
I feel like Shannon can at least appreciate. appreciate the story.
It's more romance than anything, and
it's very romantic.
It's like long. It's a slow burn, but I liked it. I really
the second one's good too. I gotta read the third one.
I like the third one. I think the third one is the best because I was laughing, but it be drawn out.
How many are there?
Like
they're all a little bit drawn out. Like they don't all have to be that big.
They're drawn.
You said how many are there?
How many are there, and are they standalones?
They are standalones.
They're standalones, but they're like standalones, but the characters come back into the books because they're brothers. It's about 3 brothers. Yeah,
but I like them. I like the third one the best though. But
see, everyone says they love the third one the best, but I'm not a huge fan of friends to lovers. So I have to get beyond that because I'll probably read it. But I was like,
Friend Zone by Evelyn Sola. That is my favorite friends to lovers.
Why you don't like friends to lovers?
I don't know.
I love that book. That book is so good because like they meet at a party and they be like, "Oh yeah, we're just gonna be friends."
You said it's called Friend Zone.
He gets filthy, and it's just great. It's an interracial romance.
Okay, I'm gonna read that one.
The third one of this, it was really good though because it's funny.
But who's it by? Shannon.
Evelyn Sola.
Evelyn Sola.
S-O-L-A.
While Whitney is looking this up, Shannon, I'm gonna need you to go ahead and shout out yourself and talk about this package I'm about to open.
She don't know how to do that. She's the worst at that.
I was like, damn, that is free.
The worst self-promoter ever.
Come on. We are self-promoting the literary. Come on. DFW.
The literary.
So is this a blind date with the book?
Wait, didn't you change the name?
It's the Indie Lit Pick box because everybody and their mama got blind dates with a book. And mine is not just a regular degular. It's a mystery book, but it's the Indie Lit Picks. Basically, it's independent authors from all genres, BIPOC, and that's it.
Ignore the box because my kids kind of were rough.
Are you pulling
I was gonna wait too. So this is what.
I thought you was showing sweaters.
Go get your sweater.
She ain't got no sweater. Oh, Lonnie.
You want me to go get a sweater?
You need to go get your package.
We got some snacks.
Come on,
snacks. Y'all, I got some bookmarks. Oh my gosh, I love the way this is wrapped up. So this is my book my mystery book. I have some magnetic bookmarks.
Oh, that's cool.
Oh, I just got a whole bunch of stuff. Look at this book. Y'all know what? It's like when you were in school and you did like if you did a paper book cover for your hardback textbooks.
Mm-hmm.
And she made a little pocket.
You taking it all the way back. That's a long time.
See, it was crazy as we used to just
don't know nothing about it.
We never did paper. We always used to buy the book covers.
Annotation. I can annotate.
I love those.
The library book card. It's a library book card.
Mm-hmm. We can't see shit, right?
We can't see it. Yeah,
right.
The light.
Okay, so let me look and see what my book is. I got.
Don't tear your stickers. Those are stickers on top of there that you can use.
Okay.
They're just taped on there.
Okay, so I'm not gonna tear the stickers. Let's see what my book is. I don't wanna mess up. I'm one of those people sometimes. This double-sided tape.
Rip that paper off.
So I'm opening it on the end so it'll just slide out. I should have bought some scissors in here with me.
Yeah, because that book is wrapped tight.
It is. All right. Oh, Perfect Little Lives.
Oh, I heard that was good. I'm
excited about it.
I read Pretty Little Lives.
Pretty Little Lives, okay.
I read Someone Had to Do It. Someone had to do it by them. That book is good.
A cute little book pouch. And it says, if I can't bring my book, I'm not going.
Okay, that's cute.
So cute. Oh, more goodies.
I had lots of snacks.
I can stash in my little thing so my kids won't get them. I like that it has its own little bag. Oh, I got some pens.
Let me see your pen.
Oh no,
it's all the same.
Have a pen, Rayn. You can't have a pen.
Yeah, and I was still good pens. Yes, ma'am.
That pen good too.
Shannon,
it's
just
nice
send
and
us the
smooth.
link for the pens. So you
Nice
got
and smooth.
Huh?
buy in bulk. Let's just all buy our own.
I got a whole box. What you talking about?
Sweet.
Girl,
Yes.
I need that link. I
I
need
like
that
a good
link.
pen, a little smooth right
Nah,
pen.
you can't steal my pens. I don't want to see them nowhere else.
I just want it for my own house.
Not for her own
I'll
house.
send you
I
the
don't
link,
sell
girl.
it. I don't sell
Cause
it.
it's all smooth. It's a matte, like a matte type smooth
Yeah, I know
pen.
that.
Yes, it's very
I love
smooth.
it.
And I got some tea. Yes, ma'am. Okay. Is this a pencil top? Oh, because baby, I thought this was a gummy.
Nah, look at. Don't eat it. Yeah.
I
Cause
thought it was
I don't know if y'all
too.
see my squishy peen.
He's a penis.
Yeah.
But no, he's not a penis. They're just
It's an elephant.
Oh,
squishy
how wonderful.
toys.
Girl, I
I
promise you,
can't put squishy
I was gonna
peens in
get some
everybody's
tea.
box.
This is stress.
Yeah. Look, I got stress balls in the next ones. They're just
Little kids.
yeah.
Well, I
They're just
also have kids that have to use what are they called? Kind of like fidget boxes. And so I
Yeah.
have a box in there for their stuff. But
This is coming from
What are
somebody
we-
that
what
has
are we-
anxiety, so
Oh yeah, let's say Cosby.
I figured these to help
thank
everybody.
you so much. Can you give everybody your website so they can go and get them an indie lit pick box?
theliterarydfw.square.site.
You can type it in the thing.
She'll put the link in
Don't
the
sound
chat.
excited about it.
What happened?
Right.
What'd she say?
You'll put the
Don't
link in the
sound
chat.
I had to think. I had
Don't
to think because
That's
I
so
had to
funny.
think.
This is nice. I'm excited.
I know I already ate all my snacks out of mine.
You already
Was
ate
it good? Did you like the little cookie thing? Was that good?
Oh, I didn't eat that one. The kids snuck that one. But which one you talking about? The brownie thing?
That right there.
The cookie.
No, the kids ate that. I did eat my popcorn.
Yeah. I'm so.
Was it good?
So what I'm going to do is see if I can slide it in the book
I
bag.
couldn't eat that much because I was
Yeah, I was like your braces.
Yeah. But I was eating it. I popped a couple tops and then the little sugar stick things.
That was supposed to go in your tea. It's honey.
It's like a honey stick for your tea.
Yeah, the honey stick can go in your tea. I forgot to mention it when you was like, when you fell out. I forgot to mention it to you when you were like, oh, the little sugar stick. I was like, that's supposed to go in your tea. It's honey.
It was good.
Yeah, she was just like,
I was like, ooh.
Right? She said, ooh.
Hey, you got your honey dose for the day.
Yeah. I like candy. I had a bag of turtles, so it was like right inside.
Well, we already have our book pick, so we good now.
Oh yeah,
you
tell
eat
everybody
turtles?
what we're reading.
I love turtles.
I don't like chocolate.
It's barely chocolate on the turtle. I feel like it's
more
pecan
and caramel.
Mostly caramel, peanuts.
If you don't like chocolate, you're not gonna eat no turtle.
Oh, I love turtles.
I love them.
A turtle got a lot of chocolate on it.
The only thing is, like now that I'm older, it's like, oh, I don't have some dental work in the back. That So I
can only eat it one, then you know what I'm saying.
I love any of those, anything with any kind of chocolate with any kind of peanuts and stuff in it. I love them. So good.
I like chocolate covered
Can you
peanuts.
get the peanuts off your finger?
No, this is my buddy.
I need a
little
buddy.
butt. A little butt. He got a little butt.
So you got to stick your finger up his butt.
Yep.
Freak.
Okay, so next week is what is it? All the Sinners Bleed. By
All the Sinners Bleed by S.A. Cosby. She laughing at my penis friend.
Because this one, I saw something. Let me just move on.
Okay. All right.
And on that note, you guys, we hope you have enjoyed our review of Fast. And we hope to see you next week. You can join us. We'll be reading All the Sinners Bleed by S.A. Cosby. So until next week, guys.
Yeah. Hopefully it's a little more upbeat.
Yes.
But the conversation.
We hope so.